everyone. Welcome back to ESL TV for the EPS 2013 Winter Finals. You know, we're never going to give you up.
We're never going to let you down.
And we're never going to desert you because we're getting underway with our second semifinal here between Playing Ducks and Planetkey Dynamics here. And we already earned the picks and bans, so we're going to take you straight into there right away as I remember to get my client up because I am the cameraman today. And we already do see Evelyn and Ziggs banned out here with Lucian and Shyvana in response.
So nothing too surprising here. They are the current sort of very strong champions in the current metagame. This is the second semi-final. For those of you who are just tuning in, have been wondering what on earth has been going on.
If you're just tuning in, you probably missed out on quite a bit.
Yes, we had a few moments.
And Trevor, it was nice casting with you. This would probably be my last job now. I would probably be fired tomorrow morning, but it was good times. It was worth it.
Or there is a future in entertainment.
The Trevor and Jason show.
I will let you guys know that I was in the receiving end of Jason singing. And while I commend your
Let's start
efforts,
off weird. The receiving end of Jason singing.
Well, it was that painful. Apply cold water to the burned area.
I was gonna say your singing was phenomenal, but all right. Well, let's get serious here. Let's get back in the game because this is gonna be an amazing best of three. Hopefully, for our sakes, for everyone's sakes out there, and for these two teams because they're looking to take the title of the Winter 2013 champions. But with Elise and Rengar as the last two bans coming in here, how do you feel about those?
Well, it's not too surprising. Just to give everybody an update on where we are, this is the second semi-final. ESC Icybox went 2-0 in their first semi-final. They're the first grand finalist. And as this picks and bans phase went through, Dax, they took a long time to get through. This is, of course, Planetkey Dynamics. They used the entirety of that minute countdown, finally locked in Annie, and an instantaneous Leona Vi. So already from Planetkey, from Playing Ducks rather, you've got a very good engage, you've got very good all-in, and you've got very good laning power because that Leona can do a lot of damage against Annie. No, because I want to say Leona beats Annie, but it came out Leone. It became a Leone.
Leone, all right. Well, as I remember during Intel Extreme Cologne talking to Crepo and Nefisto, they were even saying that one easy way to beat Annie, just all in it. Yeah. Like a Leona. Just go straight into it, have no regrets, and just fight it out. And with those two locked in, it's going to be really interesting to see what we have in response. And speaking of in response, Dax picking up a new deer.
Now, I'm very excited about this pick because we had a bit of a call earlier in the week and we were chatting to some of the North American casters, and Jat actually brought up Udyr during the discussion, and he was saying power
Leave it to
farmers,
Jat to bring up Udyr.
Who would have guessed, right? But he was highlighting the fact that power farmers in the jungle are very, very powerful right now. And Udyr, he's got great clear time, he's got great sustain inherently built in. If we want to see the side of Planetkey Dynamics here, farming the jungle, having a slower start with Nunia picking up camp after camp, farming his way into a power position, then fighting, Udyr can be a great pick for that. However, we could also see Nasus in the jungle with Udyr top. There is that possibility. So depending on what we see coming out of PKD on the other hand, we'll determine where they're going to put those champions.
We're seeing a Severe maybe, Trevor. Sorry, a little awkward, but we haven't seen a Severe yet, and she's constantly been banned out over in OGN because they realize she is ridiculously powerful, so you don't want to play up against her. Wow. We're going to see a Mundo top lane, I think.
Yeah, that's definitely my assumption here. We've actually seen a lot of Mundo in the LCS promotion qualifies group stages. We've seen quite a fair amount of Mundo being played and picked.
I believe Mimer was actually one of the people to do that.
A lot of them. And we also seen it being banned out over in OGN. So it is a current sort of very strong champion, especially when you go down the defensive tree in your masteries. You get a lot of statistics bonus that synergize with Mundo's kit. And the Sivir pick, it hasn't transitioned over to EU quite as much as it has over in OGN. It's actually ban-worthy in OGN, Sivir. So we'll see how this works out. I love the early damage they can put down. Boomerang Blade plus the Ricochet in conjunction with the Leona passive can definitely equal a dead Annie if they manage to land some CC.
I remember we were talking with Jat and Rivenstein in that call earlier in the week, and Jat was saying, yeah, if Taric and Severe get picked, it's auto-win lane. Like guaranteed at this point. And Leona kind of facilitates the exact same thing. But one thing that's kind of interesting between these two compositions, Trevor, is that they're very beefy. They're very tanky. But we do see the Vayne and Gragas picked over on Dax's side. And the Vayne, very good to these kind of high health targets.
Well, you immediately know Vayne versus Vayne and Annie is going to be coming up against Mundo. They're going to be looking for the 2v1 lane. They do not want to go into a straight up 2v2 against Sivir and Annie because they're just going to get squashed. That's going to be a very painful lane with them. Siv's going to be able to outpoke and get more damage down. She can use that spell shield to block any stun, etc. So it's not a favorable matchup for them. What we do see, though, is if that Vayne gets powerful enough, she can potentially shred through Vi and Mundo individually. I do feel like if they pair up together, though, it's going to be very difficult for Vayne to deal with both of them with the cleavers and the chase potential they both offer.
Yeah, I'm actually wondering about the protection of Vayne as we get into those late game team fights. You were saying, earlier on about diving in deep, and right now I see 3 champions that really facilitate that with that Cassidy picked up.
It's very exciting to see the composition that we have from both of these teams right now because they've both got very good strengths. I feel like over on the side of Dax, their team fight potential is going to be a little bit stronger. They've got the counter engage or the dispersion from Gragas. You've got single target stuns from Udia, as well as AoE stuns from Annie. And the rest of the side there on, Planetkey Dynamics, they're a little bit more about diving in. Vi, Kassadin, Leona, they want to jump into the middle of your opponent team, single out targets and try shut them down. So these fights are going to be very skirmish related and very sort of in and out as far as Planetkey are concerned.
Yeah, playing Ducks on that side.
Their names are going to drive me up the wall.
I know, right? There's a K, but why is the K there? I don't know. But either way, playing Ducks, though, as you said before, yeah, I agree with you. Very strong composition. I really want to see how they're going to work around this, though, how they're going to make it work for themselves. And obviously, we're into the second semifinal. It is a best of 3, and we're going to see which team will be going up against ESC Icebox a little bit later on today. I don't know which team I have favored for this, though.
It's very different compositions. It's not something we've been seeing much of, and this is partially what I'm excited about seeing. The fact that we've got different champions in the mix, the fact that we're seeing Udia. I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is the first Udia I've seen on 3.14
I think for me
this
too.
level of play. Mm-hmm. I don't think I've seen him in OGN. I definitely didn't see him during the LCS qualifiers. So in EU, at least, I didn't see any of the NA games last night, unfortunately. But I think we'll have to see how this works out. It's going to be Udyr in the jungle. So it is that power farm. You've got Nasus in the top lane. So we'll have to see how Dax handle this Nasus, because if he gets to a very strong position, he's going to be a very powerful split pusher. And we'll see how PKD handle this one.
Yeah, and I want you to touch on one thing, though, for us. Look at the amount of teleports we have in this game. How do you feel about that?
So 2 teleports over on the side of playing Ducks.
Yeah, because I remember the call we were talking with Jan Rimson about. I think you even asked the question in particular, maybe it was actually Joe, who said, with all these warding trinkets coming down, with everyone having access to wards, will teleport play come into effect?
This game's going to answer that one. The one thing that it does tell you is it's going to be much more difficult for the side of playing Ducks to fix their... to win their lanes individually. They're going to need the assistance of that teleport or ganks because they don't have those combat summoners. What we do see right now, though, is Dax moving in. You can see Siva instantly backing away. This is a very strong invade. There's no trinket wards available just yet for Vision. And it does look like they're making a play for this blue buff, and they should be able to pick this one up. Playing Dax aren't available to contest.
Yeah, let's see how Dynamics respond, or actually able to hold on to this one. And we do see right now, currently Viper is still sticking around as he does back away. But let's introduce you to both teams if you aren't familiar with them. Remember, this is a German-only league right now. We have it across Europe with many different countries. For instance, Poland KMT actually won that 2 days ago, and they also qualified for the promotion series on top of that. But we do have, over on Dax's side, Prawnbear, Nunia, I don't know how to say that name.
Best of luck. Flanatics?
Flanatics, Intix, and Mountain. Thank you. And over playing Duck side, we have Zio, we have Satane, Avenue, Cedrion, and Viper. So let's see what's going to happen here. We do have, even with the invade coming out of Dynamics, they do instead go for their own red buff here, and they didn't even bother warding up.
No, not at all. We do see some defensive wards over on the side of playing Ducks on their half of the map. No steal. It was just a full-on traipse through the jungle, getting some vision, moving around.
That's dirty.
And very interestingly, we are going to see the straight 2v2 matchup, and this is something that I definitely think is going to favor the playing Ducks. That's Siva Leona. If they land a good Zenith Blade, I definitely don't think either Vayne or Annie can survive the burst that will come down. We'll have to see how well they can chain the CC, because that's really what matters.
And the chasing potential out of Severe and Vayne at the same time, which is fun enough since the changes to her kit. I'm not sure, are you familiar with her kit right now? Because she obviously was changed around.
So one of the things that was changed from her was a while ago, of course, the stealth change on her ultimate was reduced. In addition to that, she no longer procs the 3rd hit of Silver Bolts when using Condemn. First Zenith Blade does go wide. So it just limits that sort of burst, knock someone away potential, as well as gaining the zone of safety around you. And we'll have to see how well Intex can handle Vayne. As it stands, actually does have a CS advantage. Cedrin focusing a little bit more on harass than actually CSing.
What about Severe, though, on the other hand? Because she was changed around quite a bit, too, with her entire kit. I'm not sure if you're too familiar with the changes. I mean, honestly, I haven't had a lot of time to really work into that.
So Sivers...
any thoughts on it?
Sivers changes a lot more a while ago with the rework on her kit, and she's risen to popularity now in 3.14, not so much on 3.13. But of course, the Ricochet is the biggest one to talk about. It bounces infinitely as long as there are targets to hit. So what you'll find is Cedrin will hit that Ricochet ability, it charges up to 3 basic attacks, and they'll bounce infinitely across the wave. So you've got really good wave pushing power in conjunction with Boomerang.
Well, in the meantime, on top lane, we do see Nunia going for a gank on a Zio. He does actually go for the flash. There is a red buff available on Nunia, but instead he does back away. And one thing about Severe that's also you can't underestimate in lane is using Ricochet gives you increased attack speed for those next 3 attacks, which any additional attacks you can get in lane, I would imagine would be very hard to deal with, especially when you're trying to go on par with a Vayne.
Yeah, definitely going to work out in your favor. And as it stands right now, we're not seeing, too much 2v2 action between this lane. It does look like they're just trying to farm their way up and try to get to a power position before...
Well, they want to be the very best.
...make any moves. Avenue in the mid lane, 18 CS, doing actually very well against Flintax's Gragas. CSing is only 3 behind, and as a Casterton, that's no mean feat.
Yeah, especially in melee range against the fat man with that body slam. Right now, Satane's going to be visiting this top side here, and I really feel like this top lane, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's just going to be a farm fest between these two.
It's going to be so difficult for either one to kill their opponent 1v1 without making a monumental error. I mean, both of them, when they get their ultimates, have just got a massive burst of HP they can get. The fact that Mundo's nearly impossible to lock down. Wither's just not going to be powerful enough. But level 4 right now, we do see that Pronbear hanging out. We'll see if he gets jumped on by Satane. We're going to decide to recall, and you're right, it's just going to be a farming fest. We need to keep track on those siphoning strikes, though, and see just how quickly you can stack it up. It's at plus 51 already.
Not bad on his part, and you guys missed it on the minimap. We did have Avenue teleport back to lane, so that will be down for a while here, and that gives Dynamics, which they did see, the ability to work around that for a little bit. But right now, look what Nunia is doing. He's actually committing a lot of time into enemy jungle. Earlier on, he did go for a ward, or not a ward, he went to our face check, and actually had a ward onto the red buff of playing Ducks. And right now, just doing a little bit of counter jungling here. And we're interested to see how he plays this out, considering we talked about him as being a very heavy power farmer.
Well,
farmer. There we go.
Yep, definitely. We do see the slow coming on Evan. You can the stun land.
Well, they don't get the stun, but they get the flash out Avenue, so it works out either way. And
bottom lane.
Right now, look at the damage down onto Mount right there. Just one little bit of a stun, but Cedrin actually taking quite a bit here, forcing the exhaust out of Viper. And they are forced to back away. And I think we should touch on this really quickly, even though the bottom lane has been kind of a snore fest so far. We have finally a difference in support items. Yeah, well, before we get to that, that was a great Incinerate from Mountain. He got both Sivir and Leona on that dive, which actually stopped a lot of the aggression. And as we highlighted in the previous series, the only supports that we've seen pick up this Relic Shield have been the melee supports of Leona and Taric. And once again, you see Viper X right now, waiting for the wave to push towards him. He does have that execute ability, and obviously that gold transfer ability on Relic Shield, but playing it very safe, doesn't want to take more harass than he needs to. And one thing to point out, that Nunia did start a Doran's Blade. So wanted to be very aggressive. He's going for his first back here with 1,000 gold behind that. And he's going to go right into the Spirit Stone. And we do see the top side, though, Pronbear, which is kind of funny if you don't know Mundo too much. He went for a Negatron Cloak, and I'm pretty sure you can explain why. Yeah, it's a lot of magic damage from the rest of his kit. His Burning Agony, his Cleavers, it really consistently hits you particularly hard. And that Cleaver, it does also scale off missing HP if memory serves correctly. I'll double check that in a second. But it's just that all of the kit, with the exception of his auto attacks, is going to be magic damage. So we do see Intex bottom end, though, getting caught here. We do see the flash actually E out of Leona here. They do get the stun, they do get the damage, and First Blood going over to Cedrin. That is, considering how far he was behind in CS right now, 13, getting that First Blood is going to help out quite a bit. A massive amount. Being 13 CS behind is a bit surprising to me, but I think it's because of the low levels. He was spending more time trying to deal damage to Vayne than vice versa. And Nunia, he's just controlling the jungle right now. That's the second time we've seen him invading, stealing away the red buff now on its first sort of respawn. And if he can keep control of the tempo of the jungle, he can keep Satane's Vi down. Looks like he wants to visit this top side. Remember, we did see Zhao use that flash a little bit earlier on. Promberg going to be going, popping his ultimate right away. We see Mundo use his as well. He's not using his Burning Agony. He's not using it to get out of the CC a little bit quicker, and they do get the flash stun. He is going to go down, and that will be Nunia picking that one up.
Yeah, it was on the wrong side of two enemies. So Tane does look like he's stolen away the red buff, so they've balanced out at least the jungle thefts, as it were. Very, very importantly for the Ducks is the fact that Cedrian is now coming back to lane with a BF sword and a long sword. So that is a massive spike in AD damage in comparison to just the Cutlass.
Not to mention, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Boomerang Blade scales ridiculously well with bonus AD.
Really, really well. Some of the numbers were hit. You do need to hit more than 3 targets for the damage to be equal to what it was prior. So it is a little bit lower than 313 numbers, but still very hard hitting, very powerful low-level ability that, as you mentioned, scales well with attack damage.
Well, Satane looking for another gank on the bottom here onto Intex. They were able to get the kill last time. And this time, he is level 6. He does have his ultimate available, but he's sticking in that bush for quite a while. And I wonder if he's maybe expecting a counter gank he's going for?
More realistic, it's just safety net. You don't want to be in range of that Zenith Blade. I mean, Leona only just hit 6.
Oh, no, I mean Satane, because he was just sitting up here for like the longest of time when obviously he didn't know there was no wards down.
Second time we've seen him doing this. He did it top lane as well, where he was just sitting in lane waiting for Pronbear to move into range, and it didn't work out. We've left donated there. We'll have to see how Satane moves. He's 5 CS ahead. He's actually doing slightly better than Nunia, but I think it's mostly because Nunia's been running across the map, more than his direct opposite number. And we're about to have a 3v3. The Zenith Blade lands!
Oh, Intex getting caught. He's going to get bursted down before Nunia can even get there to help, but he has the red buff available. He has that Tiger Stench jungle, and we do see Vi come in with the knockup from that ultimate, but it's not going to be enough to pick him up. They're going to run away, but a little bit of a... I don't even want to say miscommunication. That was just a misunderstanding of how much damage that Plane Ducks were able to do. Yeah,
it worked so in favor of the Ducks, and they may toy with the idea of a dive if Mountain sticks around. If Viper X can actually get onto that Annie, knowing that Tibba is not available, they may pick a fight.
Oh, Nunia, he gets caught between a rock and a hard place, but they do actually back out instead. Mountain's able to get there to help them out, and either way, Planetek's getting a nice little bit of a lead here, getting these kills onto their AD carrying support, and that's not a bad way to get started.
Definitely not. 73 CS to 69 right now. It's only a small CS lead, but it's a very big item advantage thanks to that BF sword and the long sword. In the top lane, it's just the farm fence. I mean, the amount of sustain that these two have. What is going to be interesting to note is when they get involved in team fights across the map, because we can assume that Zio actually teleported top lane. It is on cooldown. I didn't see it bottom lane during their previous engage. And as and when Nasus and Mundo join fights, that's really what's going to make an impact going into the mid game.
I'm trying to think in my head how it's going to work in a team fight. I mean, you have the Taxi Slow out of Nasus. You have the AoE ultimate to do some % damage, and you also have that big chunk of damage you can do with this Q, but he's not an immovable object that I believe Zaya would become.
The difference, though, is that they're both just going to be trying to control each other in split pushing, now that I think about it. Both of them do very well at the split push game. Both of them can impact team fights, and, against a Sivir that has a very high movement speed, that Wither is going to be extremely valuable to try and contain Sivir.
Oh, you see a teleport coming down bottom lane from Avenue. He's going to be looking for a kill here, but Mountain, he's already dropped here, and the teleport maybe a little bit unnecessary, but Intex, he's going to drop as well. And Playing Ducks, they're definitely trying to control bottom lane, and it's showing 4-1 now in favor of them. 3 kills going over Cedrian, and maybe even Dragon if we do see Satane come down from that top side. Yeah,
they definitely want that smite available. He's actually just picked up his own red buff. And a very good teleport, maybe not necessarily needed because the 2v2 was already won between Zedrian and Viper. And they're doing very well with that Civil Leona. And it's exactly what we talked about in Champ Select. I do not feel that Planetkey Dynamics Dax should have put themselves in that 2v2 scenario because Sivir and Leona are better suited to fighting Vayne and Annie.
And I wanna check something out for you, and I know it's really awkward to see me move the mouse like this, but Leona shared 187 gold. I just want to keep a check on that, just to kind of show you how the item's working out for that melee support. And it's actually a very cool item. I really like how you can share that with your support, and also, with your AD carry, and get that money on your support. But right now, down 4-1, down about 2,000 gold, and the CS, though, even from all this, isn't too heavily favored in either side.
It's definitely not, but I think that's more to do with the fact that the Ducks are just focusing so much on trying to kill their opponents.
If they were focused on CS like they're focused on kills,
exactly.
They would have a huge lead.
The other thing we've also got to keep tabs on, 10 of those CS is sitting in Viper's back pocket. Now, it's not a lot, but If you add that to the numbers of Cedrian, it does give you a 15-16 CS lead thanks to that Relic Shield, which has been upgraded to Targon's Brace. So the nerfs were applied to the base level item. You needed to invest in the next level to gain the benefit, and we do see that Viper's done that. Now Nunia, with his first real gank, I'm going to go out on a limb. The top lane, he walked into an overextended Zio. I'm not going to accept that one. But right now you can see that Saitan was moving his way down, and that's actually scared Nunia away.
And he hasn't been spotted, though, in that little bit of a gank. He's going to be going in here. He's looking for a stun. We do have flash available on both of these champions here, so he's going to be forced to just completely back out. And you look at Satane, he's coming in for a counter gank. Yeah,
definitely a round of applause there for ViperX. Not only getting out safely by using that Zenith Blade, but actually using the mini route onto Udyr to prevent Nunia from getting involved and making an impact. And the Snorefest that is two fat lads from Grimsby fighting each other. We were looking for that term a couple days ago, so I thought I'd just throw that in there to remind you of Lee's terminology.
Oh!
Smite Steal. Smite Secure? No, Steal. I had to get my colors right. Red, stealing blue, red
He's counter-jungling himself!
Yeah.
But yeah, great steal by him. He did have that ward down, and that's one thing that we see different between both games, or this game and the game prior, is that the junglers both went for the warding trinket item instead of the lens.
Yeah, definitely going to work out in favor of the Ducks as they've stolen yet another blue buff that's going to actually give Saitan advantage. He has a CS lead. He's got an assist under his name, and that's going to now mean they're starting off the Dragon. The ward that is there from Dynamics has not been spotted by the pink because it's inside the pit, and that's going to give Dynamics a lot of braveness, courage.
We see the teleport coming in from Zio. I thought he was actually backing out to go heal up, but he's going to scream in straight in. We do have actually Nasus falling in from the backside, but right now playing Ducks have this fight completely. You see the ultimate come out on Anunia. He's going to be able to back out, but Intek's trying to do some damage as the rest of Dax finally closes in for the backside. But right now, there's just not a lot of damage being traded. Playing Ducks solo on life, actually being forced to run away. And right now, no kills being traded. Nunia can be going and gets the bear stun, straight to Turtle, trying to survive. And he will, but Viper, he won't be so lucky.
No, there was no Sivir ultimate there. Wasn't available. You've seen Avenue, he ran out of mana during the course of the fight. And that quickly escalated to a 5v5. Now, the thing is, Dynamics are low on HP across the board, missing some key ultimates. Are the Ducks going to challenge? It doesn't look like it. They're going to maybe make the wise choice and back away. And that gold lead is going to be evened out a little bit.
Oh, wow. Even Satane getting the one that blew up right there. Heard the little ping, and I was like, is he going to die? But right now, I have to say, a great little fight from Dynamics. They're able to pull at least one kill back, pull a dragon back, and able to turn around a fight that really wasn't in their favor in the beginning because of those teleports coming in.
Yeah, and I also feel like the Ducks shouldn't have chased. The Ducks had a superior positioning on Dragon, they started it, and when they were being challenged by Dynamics, they chased from the Dragon Pit to Tribush. They ran into the teleporting Nasus, they ran into the grouped up side of Dynamics, and I'm not sure it was the smartest of decisions. In the grand scheme of things, a little bit lucky to actually only get out with losing one, when you've seen how low all of their HP was.
Oh, this is very dangerous. Plain Dark's going to be freezing the lane here, and they actually are behind in CS now, technically, if you just look between the two AD carries. Obviously, gold's going to be a little bit different. Bloodthirster has been completed for Zedrian, as well as Azeel, but Blade of the Rune King has been done for Intix, and we know how strong a Vayne can get with just that one item alone.
Yeah, it's a massive scaling item. It's going to allow it to at least try to get away from the likes of Vi or a Kassadin or even a Mundo if they're chasing on her. But the only thing is, if more than one champion is chasing her down, it makes life so much more difficult. I was interested to see how Viper was handling that Targon's Brace procs because they froze the lane, but he wasn't making maximum use of each of those gold sharing abilities. And as I'm waffling, Zio is just going to run away. His spidey sense is tingling. Withers down. Can they get the kill?
Just have the flash. Let's use it, and they back away. And right now, Dax, they've been just pretty content with just taking that away from him, but he has that Sunfire Cape done. He has a Kindle Gem done, and he is a tanky monster. And listen to this. Oh, it's over already. You hear Nasus barking with the other heads when he pops his ultimate. I think it's like the greatest thing ever in the game. But still, if anything, Zio was winning this lane because of that insane regen, and there was a specific mastery in the defense tree that really made this possible.
Yeah, you know, and it's something that right now Dax don't have an answer for. They can't control him. They cannot keep Zio controlled, and I'm more afraid about how they want to try to deal with him in these team fights because a Condemn and a Blade of the Ruined King is going to help, but it's not going to completely mitigate that ultimate, and Munda's just going to keep chasing down. A couple of stacks here, and luckily the Ducks have that Satan Vi to respond. Spirit of the Elder Lizard as his first item, actually. That's where he's going to be getting his additional gold from and really clearing out those jungle camps as quickly as possible.
And I'm thinking back into the picks and bans phase of this. I don't know, personally, if I'm convinced by the Udyr, because to me, it seems like he's just going to be a stun bot for Intex on that Vayne. He's just going to be trying to keep everyone off of his AD carry as he can. He becomes basically a support in my mind.
On the condition that he can stun up Mundo, Vi, Cassidy, Leona in that order as they dive in for Vayne, I think it can work out, but as it stands, he's behind on CS, he hasn't had control of his jungle, does manage to catch out Setan. He's going to use a very good Vault Breaker over the wall, but this is 3v3. Very nice solar flare from Viper is going to stop Udyr, but Setan's in trouble.
And Avenue's coming down from middle as well. They do pick up that kill in favor of Nunia here, and Avenue going to be backing away, so great little play by them there to catch them off guard and to pretty much use their cockiness against them.
Now that's the point that I was trying to raise earlier. The versatility that Udyr offers could be the thing that works in their favor because he can stun targets on point. You know, the one who was the biggest threat to his Gragas or Vi, to his Vayne, is the one that will be receiving that bear stun. And he's got a lot of tankiness already with that turtle shield. 3 ranks into it. He's put 5 points into his Tiger stance as well, as we do see Cassidy running away a little bit there from Gragas. Only 20 CS behind, still good numbers considering the stage in the game.
Yeah, this is typically the point where I would say Gragas will always pull ahead, if not most of the time. But right now, it's 28 stacks, that's not correct. It's 282.
282. Yeah, it drops the last digit, if I recall correctly. So it's hundredths, then tenths.
Got it.
And it drops the single. So you can say it's above 280 as a shoutcaster and not need to look at the the third and final digit. But that's a lot of bonus damage. Plus 290 before all of the bonuses that it gives you from his, itemization. Nasus is already hitting very, very hard. If he does get onto a Cassidy or a Sivir, that's, 2 or 3 shot potential.
And one thing we have to kind of, I guess, talk about a little bit is the spell shield that a Sivir has. Obviously, it's been changed around so it doesn't cost any mana. And that could be an instrumental ability in these team fights if you can block maybe an Annie's Timber or maybe even a Wither somehow.
The thing is that it's... when you're up against an Annie or a Gragas, that's great. Because that initial engage, you'll be able to block. My concern is, if it's somebody like a Gragas, that means you'll be the only one standing there and everyone else will be gone. So there's going to be a lot of timing coming down from Cedrion in a team fight, and we'll see whether or not it works out for him and whatever sort of defensive item they go for. Against the likes of a Gragas, Nasus, Udyr, it wouldn't be unheard of to see something like a Mikhail's Crucible. Get rid of the on-hit stun, get rid of some of the damage, but it's not something you traditionally see on a Leona, so we'll have to see if and when Cedrion picks himself up something like a Quicksilver Sash or a Banshee's Veil to supplement that additional spell shield that he's already got built in.
Quick shot right now. I'm in a trance watching these two go head-to-head and farm at the same time. I can't look away. It's the greatest thing to see, but right now...
it's the most boring thing to see, don't lie.
I don't see... yeah, it is.
Are you a top laner by trade?
No, that is the worst lane I play.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just Mundo and Nasus. Teleports are both available. Dragon's up in 5 seconds. And you can see that the Ducks, they've got vision here. They're making a very, very clear play for this. Teleport available for Avenue as well. And Seitan's actually started this one off, so keep an eye on those summoner spells. We'll have to see as and when someone comes in. They've caught Nunia.
Nunia, he's going to be in trouble here. But the Gragas ultimate comes in. The Leona ultimate comes in perfectly well placed, and Viper's super far ahead of his team. They do get the ultimate onto Intex. He's getting dropped very low here, but Promberg coming in as well as Zio. We see the first kill come into Zedrin, who's able to pick up Nunia. Satane going to go down, and that means Planetkey, I'm sorry about the name, is going to be running away, running for his life. He goes down, double kill for Zedrin. The fight's not over just yet. Cedric not touched yet in this entire fight. He has the rev up. He is withered down. His Avenue still getting in and out of the fights. And Zio going head-to-head against Intex. Takes him down, looking for Mountain. Doesn't get him, but it doesn't matter. In the end, they get the 4 kills. We see Pronberg going to run away, and they're going to get the Dragon on top of it. Very
well played by the Ducks overall. They controlled the tempo of the fight. And I think, very importantly, they pulled the trigger first. They dove onto Dynamics before Dynamics could respond. A little bit sloppy towards the middle of that fight. Everyone was dispersing. And I'm going to actually double check on the replay here on my system where Mundo teleported to, because he sort of came in very, very late in my mind. Nasus had already been in the fight, and Zio was 4-star quite early on. So
and he came in with really low life.
Yeah, he came in, as soon as he teleported in, was forced away by Vayne and by Nasus, and I actually think that's what helped the Ducks. because Nasus and Vayne were focusing down Mundo, trying to push him away, it gave the Ducks time to clean up the bottom of the fight near the Dragon Pit and then roll back in.
And look on the bottom of the screen, guys. We have Cedrian 6-0-1, 183 CS. He has a Bloodthirster, a Static Shift, and a Last Whisper completed before 23 minutes. Playing Ducks, I have to say, just based on that alone, if they can keep him alive and they can play well, they're going to be able to take this game.
Oh, and Avenue even steals away the blue buff. So very nicely done. And he's going to carry on chasing in there. I lied to you, actually. Fintax got it. I lied to you. My bad. They both had blue. We didn't get it.
The robes are tricky.
Yeah.
It happens to me all the time. But right now, it's Tate in great position. He actually forces the Gragas ultimate out of him.
That was a little cheeky. Trying to get that little stun on the wall, mini stun, but didn't work out.
And right now, playing Ducks with, I guess, the advantage they have, they're looking to start sieging down turrets, and you kind of called it. We're going to see the top laners just go for split push.
I definitely think that's the way this will play out, and the only time they'll get involved in these fights is when the ultimates are the teleports are available. Ooh. I feel like both teams have got very good 4v4s, but the mobility of the Ducks plays in their favor. Now, Pronbear is going to come in. Take a look at this. This is now going to be a 3v2.
Oh, Avenue came in with the teleport, and Zio tanking up the turret, surviving for such a long time. That's going to be Nunia going down. Now they're looking for Pronbear, but he's just so damn tanky. But in the meantime, you see the rest of the team engaging on the backside, and we see Severe almost go down. Viper gets to get to the wall. He's going to drop. And right now, it's a 2-for-1 trade. We do see Plain Ducks pick it up, but still, that was very close. 2-for-1. Plus they got the tower. So at the end of the day, Ducks come out significantly ahead. And the one thing I want to highlight about that dive in the top lane was just how well they swapped and judged the tower damage. They traded it between Zio and Saitane perfectly, juking in and out of the tower range to reset the target and make sure they picked up those kills. I think Viper and Cedric got a little antsy being collapsed upon and jumping, in the inner tower, which ended up costing Leona's life. And one thing we should kind of point out is it's really hard to talk about it in a game right now when you already passed the laning phase. But I remember in our call we talked about having more assists than kills and how that can benefit you.
Yeah, so the assist counts maybe more relevant for somebody like Avenue and Viper X right now. The moment you have 2 more assists than you have kills, you gain anywhere from 30 to 60 gold in addition to your assist gold or your kill gold that you pick up. So it scales very well if you have that magic number. And somebody like Pronbear 013, he's actually going to gain additional gold the next time he's involved in one of those fights. It helps you catch back up if you're behind, and it also helps you accelerate further if you're already 106, for example.
Well, and right now we do see, I'm going to look at the name, I can't remember. Face of the Mountain picked up for Viper X here, so early investment into that. Also a Ruby Sidestone with Boots of Mobility. On the other side for Mountain, who's now 2-2-2, I want to say. Has a Haunting Guise, has the Medallion done, and even an Amp 2 on top of that. So he's actually been a little bit of AP, but not Boots of Mobility, not giving them that option to go for a hard engage. He's pretty much going to be committed to his flash, I would imagine.
Yeah, he's definitely going to need that. It's not up just yet, and I think that would be Boots of Mobility very soon. It's definitely the de facto boots that we're seeing. But when I look at like a minion wave like there in the middle, Viper X with this base of the mountain, he's got, that shield upgraded all the way to the max, and he has generated 600 gold in total off of that already. But he had 4 stacks. He just let Kassadin, insta-give the wave, and he didn't use the stacks. He didn't benefit from the item.
What a scumbag.
I just feel like if you're going to invest that much money into it and you're going to go down that whole path, I really feel like you need to have an understanding that if you're at 4 stacks, let me at least get one of them. Let me at least constantly be recharging. Don't waste ammunition, as it were. Nunia right now just farming up that white camp as Zio is just, he's a beast. 2-2-2 on the CS numbers. He's got that Sunfire Cape, Spirit Visage, and another Giant's Belt. It's going to take Vayne and a half to kill him.
Well, with that randomness comes in, it's going to maybe even take 3 Vaynes to kill him with the attack or with the movement speed slow. But right now, he's still pushing that top lane. And you talked about these 4v4 fights a little bit earlier on. And you think Playing Ducks easily has these fights. I
definitely do. I feel like as long as they don't group up, the condition for that statement to be true, they cannot afford to be caught by a 3-man or a 4-man Annie ult or a 3-man or a 4-man Gragas barrel.
Oh,
One man will do, Seitan's in trouble.
Gets ulted right back to his team, gets taken down with the stun out of Mountain, and now Nunia going to be dropping here. Zio getting condemned into the wall, but he's just so hard to kill. The ultimate is running, but he's going to finally drop here, and that is 2 kills coming in for Dynamics. Will they be able to make anything off of this, though?
The Ducks were a little overconfident. That's what I was waiting for.
I love it. I love it. It's so good.
The Ducks were a little overconfident. I don't think they expected Dynamics to actually make a play or use that Gragas ulti just for one, but it worked perfectly. Got the pick, played into their favor. Even though the re-engage from the Ducks managed to pick up a kill, they committed too deep on that tower and ended up giving away another kill as well.
Right now, at least they do have a decent amount of wave clear with that Severe there, but I don't know if it's going to be enough here. We're going to have that Gragas ultimate come up very shortly, and Pronbear with the stacks on that Q right now is just shredding through turrets. It's at 410 plus. That hurts a lot. He has not been interrupted. He has 205 farm right now. And when you get to these team fights, if he's able to stick to someone, that person is going to drop. So
in total, with his base and his bonus AD, it looks like there's a fight to Satan has managed to catch Gragas.
Wow, and let's see if there's any backup for it, though. Avenue's pushed up very far. Satan picks it up. Mountain actually flashing over Dragon to stun backwards. I don't really know what happened right there, but Nunia, he's going to drop.
That was such a great solar flare from Viper. Managed to lock up both Nunia and Pronbear and just allowed the rest of the Ducks to collapse. Now with the numbers advantage, they're actually going to opt to go for Baron. It's going to be 5v3 in a best case scenario, and there's no tippers for a few more seconds as Mountain and Intex are just going to take the least they can and grab a Dragon.
Can you actually go look back at what Mountain did in that fight? Because it looked like he flashed over Dragon Pit Wall to stun? Or did I see that wrong? Well, I don't know.
I will review his positioning as Baron has been secured by the Ducks. It works out completely in his favor.
Missed his flash.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Fail flash from the Dragon Pit. He didn't even have tippers available at the time, so I don't know how good of his Incinerate would have been to prevent it, but that was a perfect solar flare. And with Baron, a 5,000 gold lead, a tower lead, and map control, I definitely feel like the Ducks are in the driving seat right now. The game of the tempo of the game is in their pace.
We do have a lot of money for them to spend. You can just see the difference between the two teams. Look at the 80 carries alone, 12.4 thousand gold to the 9.5 thousand. It's getting pretty ridiculous right now. And you see, look what Intex has built up so far. He's been forced in so many different directions as he does complete a Lost Whisper, but he's building up a little bit of magic resist, a little bit more attack speed here and there. And on the other side, Sedrun has a GA now.
It's quite funny because that gold difference has basically been sunk into that GA, and I think that's great because if he gets burst down by Gragas or Annie, he just comes back and is still useful in a team fight. The one thing that is going to be difficult for the Ducks is getting through this immense wave clear. With Nasus and Gragas, they basically have to have their opponents dead before they can sit and deal damage to towers. And there's that perfect example of Ricochet. As long as there's a target to bounce to, it will bounce, and it only bounces once per target.
Well, right now we're seeing this push continue on here. We do have teleports up across the board for both teams, and Avenue, he's going to be split pushing as well. So I imagine Planetkey's got to be very careful they don't get engaged upon here, or this could be very bad for them, but they do have the Baron buff still.
Now there's one thing I do want to talk about the Ducks composition. With Mundo, Vi, Leona, this is a team that can tower dive. So if somebody is caught a little bit out of position, or if Vayne is standing too close to a tower or in front of it, Leona, Mundo, Vi, they could all dive under the tower. They've got a lot of innate armor, sustain, and regen. And as it stands, they don't need to because they're just playing the split game name.
I'm worried, though. They don't have disengage that well. They have Severe Ultimate, which is very nice, but right now, actually, are they going to seriously be able to get straight for this turret right now? They do go in on Nunia. And we do see, right now, Gragas did go down bottom. We had Nasus still top lane. Nunia gets caught with the ultimate. The anti-stun comes out very well done, but it doesn't matter. Sedrun just tearing through them right there. Intex going to go down. Double kill now for Severe. And he's going to not chase down Mountain. He's actually going to switch straight to this turret. Going to be able to pick that one up and the inhibitor off. Wow, off the two. And Avenue even picks up a kill over onto Gragas.
The amount of CC that came out of the Ducks there was just too powerful. I mean, you see Nunia, he was trying to dissuade them, trying to say, look, I'm the beefy Udyr, I'm in your way, and he just got shut down. The Ducks right now, they're onto the Nexus turret, still 30 seconds on the clock as Pronbear is going to try his hardest to survive this one. They've got the second one, they're going to do it.
Wow, maybe they'll just go straight for the Nexus. They have the tankies to do it. They have Sedrun in the backside. He's not going to be touched. And I don't want to say out of nowhere, but playing Ducks, very one-sided match for them after they got out of the initial stages of the game.
That was a fantastic performance, and I would say even in the initial stages, the amount of lane ganks and kills that they picked up on Vayne and Annie, it really worked in their favor. There was never a chance where you felt Vayne and Annie are going to have an impact. I don't think I've seen a flash Tibbers that really blew my mind. That really thought, hey, that was a great Tibbers. Just phenomenal play from the Ducks.
Yeah, and I mean, we can take a look at the scoreboard real quick. Sedrun finished off 9-0-6, didn't die once, didn't even get his GA popped right there. 409 Avenue, who wasn't really impactful in the lanes, but the teleports they used, they did a very good job of making those effective. Even Viper went to 11. Over on the other side, 333 Mountain, who was a support Annie. That's not where you really want the kills.
The thing that impressed me about that game was how the Ducks pushed for objectives. The moment they got a team fight, like in the mid game, they're like, we can take Baron. The moment they got Baron, they push back, spend money, and they go, we play the split push. We have Baron. They managed to get Dynamics to play their 1-3-1 game, and they're like, well, it's 1-3-1. We've got Vi and Leona. Please put someone in front of us.
AD carry.
Yeah, put somebody in front of us for Vi and Leona to lock onto. And that's exactly what they did. So well played to the Ducks.
Yeah.
Leona Sivir ban is my prediction for the next one. I don't think they're going to let Leona or Sivir through.
Both or just one?
Sivir's the most important. But I still think if they went for if they went for Leona Jinx, I think they could do the same.
All right, well, guys, I'm going to just check real quick if we do have the next lobby up in a second or two, or no, it looks like we will be going to a little bit of break. So, guys, we're going to go to a quick 5-minute break, a little bit of a breather here. But when we come back, we're going to have Game 2 between Dynamics and Plain Ducks coming up. Don't go anywhere.